Welcome to a disappointing post game, but a post game nonetheless. This was a game where I figured that I needed to stream after immediately because there are some things that we need to discuss, some things that the Bruins didn't look too good on here in this game, and that's one thing that is going to have to change. You know, for the rest of the season, for the upcoming games, for the next game against Montreal, it's going to have to change, and that being Joonas Korpisalo, the main part of that. Joonas Korpisalo being pretty mid. Pretty mid. And I am looking for another screenshot here that I have not gotten yet, but it should be on Twitter now here soon. Here we go. I probably will freeze here for a moment. Just give me 1 second. I need to get this screenshot and pull it up. I'm not too bad. How is everybody? It could be better. Obviously, the Bruins could have won, but this is the screenshot here in question that I wanted to discuss here. And as you can see, there is not too much positive at all. And for those who know, at the end of last season, this is kind of what I was going over for, kind of discussing a game without actually looking at it. Tough game from Mason Lohrei, Brandon Carlo. I don't even want to list everybody because it was a tough game from everybody. And realistically, the only positives we're seeing on this is from the last period, maybe. First period was absolutely horrible. The second period got a bit better, but still really bad. And the third period could have been much better, but it wasn't horrible. And I feel like we could say that about every period, but I think that not so much this is the issue, but the goaltending that we saw here tonight. So I'll pull that up again in a bit. But obviously, this is the thing I wanted to pull up. Obviously, the Bruins did stink tonight horribly. And I know it's early, and I know that's still the first game that Joonas Korpisalo was playing against the defending Stanley Cup champions and everything like that. And I'm not going to say this game was fully on his fault. There was definitely a lot that he should have been able to save and a lot that he obviously didn't. But a few of those goals, horrible bounces, bad positioning. Defense was horrible. Like, it comes down to just a whole bunch of things all at once really coming into effect here. And this is the game that we're looking at here. These are Korpisalo's stats from this game. Yeah, and I will discuss that. I just seen someone, Korpisalo needed to be pulled. I'm going to discuss that as well here. But looking at his stats, a 627 goals against average and 829 save percentage is not good at all. Not at all. That's not what we wanted to see here. 35 shots against, 29 saves. And that's not horrible. But Korpisalo really was cheeks in this game. I think there's no taking that away from anybody. I think that's a fair assessment that everybody will admit, and I'm seeing you guys typing corporate cheeks in the comments, and you're not wrong. But as for when it comes to pulling Korpisalo, this is what I'm very surprised didn't happen, is that I'm surprised we didn't see Jeremy Swayman in this game at all. I figured where he didn't get a preseason game that you kind of would have put him in for the third period, maybe even the second after that first period, that 4-goal first period. I figured they would have put him in just to try and give him a so-called game, even though he's really not playing a full game. The game was over at that point. Now, obviously, it didn't end up being the case because it was 6-4. We scored 2 goals near at the end, came back a bit, and if a few of those garbage goals didn't go in, who knows what the score would have been at the end of the game. But you're right as well, Robert. There was no defense in front of him, so you can't fully put that game on Korpisalo. And a lot of it was, but it wasn't at the same time. It's just a whole matter of everything happening all at once, with the defense being horrible, goaltending not being great, and a lack of pressure on the beginning of the game. And looking at the penalty minutes as well, that was another issue that we had. Now, it wasn't too much of a big deal at the end of the game overall because we didn't allow a power play goal against, but still, a lot of the penalties near the end of the game, a lot of the odd man rushes they had, a lot of the opportunities that they had with a man advantage, the Bruins could have done something if it was 5-on-5, if it was even strength, if it was 4-on-4, whatever. It would have been potentially a goal coming out of this. So that's one thing as well. A lot of these were behind the play. A lot of these were just unnecessary penalties to take at the time of whatever happening. Obviously, there were a few that were very warranted. One being when Sam Bennett, ran over Jonas Korpisalo. I think that's a given opportunity to to go after some of the guys, which, of course, you got 2 penalties. Now, that's still a power play coming out of that, however. But certain times like that, you can give it to him. But at the end of the game, round where Nikita Zadorov got his second slashing penalty well behind the play, you really can't afford to have things like that going on when you never know what the outcome of the game could have been. And that's a good example of how this game ended. 2 goals near the end, and we see what a goal against that didn't go in could have done for us. I won't keep you here too long as well, because I'm sure a lot of you guys want to go see that Utah game as well. Yeah, as I said, if someone's watching the Utah game, I'm getting ready to do so too. But I needed to come on, get a stream in, discuss this team because it was a tough go. It's a very, very tough go in the beginning of this game here. But some things for next game that are going to have to change is, well, first of all, Swayman's obviously going to be starting, and that was known before this game as well, that Swayman will be starting next game in Montreal. But going into that game where he wasn't put in, there's not going to be a team practice before the game in Montreal. They're traveling tonight, I believe, going to Montreal, not practicing tomorrow, and or no team practice, I should say. They're going to be on the ice, but I'm sure Jonas Korpisalo and Jeremy Swayman, will both be out there. But I think that it's going to be a big step up next game. I think that Jim Montgomery really going to put his voice out there as he did in the early game, but Korpisalo stunk, and I think that was no surprise to anybody after watching this game. Now, I know I've been very heavy on him. I've been very heavy on Korpisalo, saying I still believe the potential, and what I still think and what I still saw was there. It was there, and I seen some very good saves and a lot of good plays, but overall, the goals he let in just were not NHL caliber goals and not NHL caliber goaltending at all in the whole outcome of this game. Yeah, I can't believe I kind of had an idea as well that Korpisalo would not have been too great to start off, but he's in a good system for goaltending to improve. So that's my hope. That's what we're going to see. And yeah, one game. It's only one game. Things are going to get better. Obviously, it's kind of hard to come into the reigning Stanley Cup champions home on their banner night, having the celebration there, the crowd's going nuts. You know, that's a whole thing that's going to be tough to come into. And the Bruins did it, but obviously was not the outcome that we wanted. Rebound control, was not good. Positioning was not good. There was really no good outcome of this from Korpisalo. You know, apart from a few nice saves, but other than that was on the defense's fault. Korpisalo should have had to make only one save, but he would end up having to make 2, 3, or 4 on that one play, on the one outcome. So it is something that will have to be fixed before we get deeper into the season, because now we just say Jeremy Swayman comes in, has a bad game, he's not yet ready. What do we have to do? Do we have to turn back to Jonas Korpisalo? We can't do that. We can't afford to have Jonas Korpisalo for too many games. We want to see him get better, and that will take game time, but we can't push him into the game where he's not ready. And that's my little bit of concern there, but overall, so I think it's fine. Swayman and net, we would have won that game. I also believe that, because the goals that Florida did score were not good goals. You know, there was a few, well, obviously Sam Reinhart's, that was gorgeous, but a lot of them, bad bounces, bad plays, you know, just a whole bunch of stuff like that. And we can't accept that. We have to see a better team if we want to actually win a game. Yeah, no, you're right, Sean. You like Swayman. If Swayman was standing backwards, if he was facing the glass, facing the people, sitting behind the net, I'm confident he still probably could have made some of those saves that Jonas Korpisalo couldn't. And I do think that's a big part of it as well, Ryan, is the drama that went on with Swayman. I know now that everything is resolved, he's back on the team, you know, it should be over and done with. That was still an ongoing thing for weeks and weeks and weeks and the entire training camp. And that was on a lot of people's minds. Like Brad Marchand was getting asked about it at pretty much every media availability. And that's not something that he wants to have to discuss. That's something that should just happen out of the public eye. And unfortunately, that's not the case. I think the Bruins are still a bit caught up on that. So I think once Joonas Korpisalo, he gets a few games, but once Jeremy Swayman gets in and really starts to play like the Swayman we know, I think that's when we're going to start to see this team settle back in and, really just get back to a comfortable situation for the Bruins. I do think that's going to be very soon. I'm not expecting Swayman to come out here and go 20-0. Or not that's just an exaggeration, but I don't expect him to be outstanding numbers. I think Swayman's going to be very, very good. But the one thing that, I've mentioned here in some videos as well is the concerning point for me is the games in a row he's going to have to play. Because, after this game, and I know it's only one game, and I still will say this, it's only one game, but we can't go relying on Joonas Korpisalo every single, game or two, or, we can't go back and forth the same way we did with Ullmark and Swayman. So it's going to be a big workaround for the foreseeable future, but I think it's going to be good. I don't want to get too far into the season. I don't want to get my hopes up or anything, or let my hopes down, but I'm excited to see how this turns out, how we play out of here. I think there's going to be a big turnaround game here come Thursday, I believe, is the next game against Montreal. So I'm excited to see what changes are made to this. And I'm not going to say any roster spots, maybe, but rather gameplay, game style changes. Utah scored. I missed it. Let's see. Any Dylan Genther. I would have guessed that, yeah. Yeah, we still got to think about this. Still only the first game. And the first game never really, goes the way you want exactly. Well, of course it did for Florida in this case. They could have gone horribly wrong, though, near the end. But, they weren't losing on their banner night, and you can't really blame them, because you're still riding that high from a cup, getting back into the game and kind of going back off that. The cup was in the building. It was just an atmosphere for them there tonight, so you can't really blame them, but the Bruins should have put up more of a fight at the beginning of the game. Exactly, Azura. The penalties were something that we need to clean up. I do have it on a screenshot here. Here we go. 19 penalty minutes for the Bruins here in this game. And I know there was the fight from Kastelik, but other than that, it needs to be cleaned up. The penalties behind the play were really taking this game away from us. We weren't actually giving the full 5-on-5 ability the Bruins that we know the Bruins have to show what they can do, and that was a big part of it, is the penalties not allowing for anything like that to actually take place. It is horribly sad that Utah looks sharper than the Bruins right now. However, same situation. Utah, new home. They kind of have the freedom now of the not being under the Arizona banner. You can't blame them for that. Timeout attack. I will pull that up as well. That's what I meant to do. Thank you for that reminder. Just give me a moment. I probably will freeze when I find the screenshot again. Just give me a moment, however. Timeout attack. Is that on ESPN or the NHL website? Where can I find that? Does anybody know? Time on attack. Not on ESPN, I don't think. No. See NHL.com. Yeah, but still, this game, I don't want to say I'm not happy with it, of course, but I think it could have been much worse. I think the team really showed some spark, a little spark of something at the end, which obviously is exactly what we wanted to see. It's what we want to take away from it, but it's still not a horrible outcome or a horrible showing from the team. Now, obviously, many players it was, but I don't want to get too carried away with it. But yeah, they were just chasing all night. They were exactly. They were chasing all night. They really couldn't have any control of the puck in their own their own system. They couldn't really do what they wanted to be able to do because Florida was just taking control of whatever they can. Yeah, sorry about this. I'm trying to find the time on attack, but I just cannot find it at all. If I find it, or if someone can direct me into any location of where it might be, let me know. Well, that was exactly the case. The Stanley Cup champions just went out, played their game, and easily beat an inferior team right now. That is exactly correct. Yeah, like, and the Stars couldn't get going, really. Pastrnak at the end got that goal. Brad Marchand could have had 3 goals in less than a minute, but they were all missed. That stunk, but, we're gonna go move on from this game. We're gonna get what we want to, and we're gonna learn from this. So I'm gonna pull this up again because we have a few more people in here now, so a few people may not have seen it. But this is the hockey stat card on Twitter. If you are looking for the source, they do this for every game. This is the Bruins tonight, and now as you can see, there is pretty much no offense. No defense anywhere in sight on this. The offense that is provided there comes from Charlie McAvoy, comes from Elias Lindholm. 2 defensemen at the top of the offense should not be what we're looking at here. We should see, David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, those guys at the top of this. But it was just a horrible game. Mason Lohrei had a very, very tough one. A very tough game. Brandon Carlo as well wasn't the greatest. Brandon Carlo fired a puck into the Panthers bench. That was most certainly on purpose. I have no doubts about that because there was no way Mark Kaslick was going to catch that puck, and there was no way he was getting in front of it. But that was pretty funny. At the end of the game, it was just it got my hopes up too much. If I'm going to be honest with you, it got my hopes up too much going into a thought of winning, but I knew it wasn't coming. It was too little, too late for this Bruins team at the end of the game. But I do have a few other, not screenshots. What am I looking for? Yeah, okay, this screenshot here. This is what Michael Sullivan had to say, and I have a very good follow on Twitter. I do recommend. He's very funny. He says, look, a new goalie and a new system behind a new defense and a new structure. One game does not define a goalie, but yikes. And I think this is what a lot of you guys are feeling right now. This is the way I feel, that it definitely did suck this game. There was no other way around it because it was horrible. But looking at this and looking into the whole system behind it, it does make sense. And I am not really going to think of this as every game coming. I do think this is a sole game here because of this. Yeah, no, this is exactly. A lot of you guys saying as well, not worried. I completely agree. There's nothing to worry about right now. It just does suck to see this, but the only thing to worry about, really, if you even want to worry about it, is Joonas Korpisalo's development for this season. But this right here by Michael Sullivan is exactly what the game played out, how it played out, and exactly what we have to think about at the end of this game. Yeah, we need to step up on any goal scoring opportunity as well. Like, we had a good amount of shots. We had some quality shots, but there was also some that, we could have made the better play on. There was no need to make the play they did when there was another wide open, I'm not going to think of anything in specific, but just looking at this game and watching it, there was just so many opportunities where the Bruins could have kind of extended it a bit more than what they had already. And that's one thing that I want this team to work on, and one thing that I know we're going to work on ahead of Montreal in the next game, which is going to be, I think that should be a win. I know Montreal probably has a bit of potential here in this season, unfortunately, but they don't live up to the Bruins right now, and it's not even close. But they do have a lot of young guys and a lot of young talent, which the Bruins really need to focus on. Poitras was a big loss here in this game as well. I think that's something that we're going to be very excited when he comes back. That's going to be a big return to this lineup, and one that I think Poitras is going to come back hot because he missed so much of last season. Pretty much all of last season, but I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see him come out of this game. I will pull up, I mean, the stats are going along here on the base bar as well, if you want to look at those. But I will take a screenshot from ESPN. I'm probably frozen right now. Don't mind me. Just taking some screenshots here of the stats for the players. Okay, should be good. Not convinced the team is the right coach. Like, I want to know what... Okay, so for those people here now, what do we think about Jim Montgomery? Because I still think Jim Montgomery is good right now, and Don Sweeney's discussed about the extension, but I don't think he wanted to make it before the season started, which obviously is a smart plan. But I think Jim Montgomery has... where should I put this? I'll put this right here. I'll move over as well. I think Jim Montgomery is the right guy right now, just because of his voice still matters. I think a lot of the players respect him, of course, but when he speaks to you, it seems like the players listen. It really seems like the players listen and acknowledge that you don't mess with him. You don't not listen to what he's saying. But let's just take a look at the stats here. He is a bit too soft. I don't want to say he could be. He is. But when he's not soft, which not too much of the time, but when he's not, he's pissed, which is, I think, what the Bruins need. They want a coach that, or I don't want to say they want, they need a coach that will really just not give up under any circumstance to, get you going. But yeah, looking at these stats here, and I'll make this a bit bigger for you to see. It's probably easier. There was nobody about like tonight here who really exceeded any expectations for me, to be honest with you. Yeah, Monty did freak out in the TV timeout, is what I was seeing. Obviously, they didn't show it, but he was not happy with this team. And after that point, we still seen a bit of the same Bruins we saw during the game, but they did play better after that when that happened. They did play much better when that happened. Exactly. That's what I wanted, or what I was discussing earlier, Dan, as well. That when you're going out here and you're scoring 4 goals, should be a win. That's no. I'll discuss these stats later, but I want to get this going. When you go out and score 4 goals, and when you go out and score 4 good goals, or well, we can call them good. I'll say 4 goals that are going to be goals on many teams, players, goalies, whatever. But you should win. Korpisalo led in a few weak ones that really didn't let us go about this game. I think the team got a bit down on themselves when it was after the first period, 4-1, I believe it was. And from that point is where we started to see it heat up a bit, but it was just too little too late, and they just couldn't. They needed something early. They needed the first goal of this game, and if they got the first goal of that game, I would have felt a bit more confident. Yeah. I shouldn't have said they were good goals, because they weren't. But it just goes to show that just get the puck on net. You don't need to have the open shot every single time. If you got a garbage goal, if you see 4 or 5 people in front of the net, just throw it at some legs. It's gonna bounce off somebody, whether it goes back to the point, out to the corner, or in the net at the goalie. Either one. It's a scoring opportunity. So, whether it's a face-off, you get a scoring opportunity off that. If it's a shot, save, face-off, goalie, the goal goes in. Just a whole bunch of stuff that really adds up to what you want to see. Okay, so puck clearing and power play needs to be better. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And one thing as well that I just got reminded from that was the face-offs. I will pull up this now, because I think this will probably be the good one. Elias Lindholm. Where is he? Here he is. 3 for 6 on the face-offs. That's not great for a guy who is supposed to be our face-off guy, our number 1 center. That is not as good as we can, or that we need to have. Charlie Coyle, 9 for 10. He was on quite a few tonight, but Mark Kastlik, exactly the guy that we wanted to see here tonight. 7 face-off wins, 4 losses. And a fight. He played well. I'm very happy with his game here. But yeah, overall, there's not too many players that you could say that were spectacular tonight. But that's all we can do. Game's over now, so we have to we have to just move on for Montreal, which I know a lot of you guys are very excited for, and I'm sorry, loud. That was probably loud. I am as well. Exactly. That's another good comment there. Lots of new chemistry needs to be built on the team, but it'll get there. And that's I could not have said that better, because that's exactly what we've seen in this game, is that, and exactly what we had seen here from Mike Sullivan. The exact same thing is that there's so many new players on this team. This is probably a lot of their first game as this exact roster. I don't think this exact roster played in the preseason. I could be wrong, but well, definitely not with Jeremy Swayman. But if this exact roster, once this gets chemistry, they're going to be very, very good. And it could be quite a dangerous team. Now, they have to play better than they did tonight, obviously. Zadorov did really well tonight. Lindholm's pass to Zacha was selfless. Yeah. I like Zadorov's game tonight. The only thing that I did not like too much was the unnecessary penalty at the end. But we don't need to worry about that. That's good. But I do appreciate that, Michael. Thank you. They probably could have scored more. If they had put a lot more pressure on Korpisalo, certainly would have. But, they were clogging the neutral zone near the end of the game. I think they were kind of just playing defense. They weren't the same team 10 minutes to go in the third than they were 10 minutes into the first period. And a lot of that was due to the score. But still, 2 lucky bounces, and that goes to show what you can get out of that and where you can go. And, absolutely, chemistry doesn't always come, but I think with this team, a lot of the players, the way they looked tonight, I see the potential that they have here, and what we're going to be looking at 3 or 4 games down the road. It's going to get better. I can guarantee you that we're going to see that against Montreal. It's just a much better team overall. No, exactly, Brandon. That's exactly right. You can't go out and expect Swayman to save 40, 50, 60 shots a night, whether it's Swayman or Korpisalo. But Swayman especially, he's very good, and he probably can do it, but we don't want to have to make him do that. That's the big thing. You don't want to have to make him have to go out and make 50 saves. Yeah, Swayman's going to have a bit, and that's the thing as well. You need this chemistry, because you can't have Swayman going and save 40, 50 shots for, 55, 60 games this season, because we're not having that Allmark tandem with the 50-50 split pretty much. So it's going to be a busy season for Swayman. I think that's one thing the team is going to have to change from last year is you can't always rely on your goaltender as much as you probably would want to. And I do want to see what this team looks like up against another very good team in a couple weeks. I want to see, I do believe we have a rematch against Florida coming up soon, right? I think it's in the first 10 games. I'll check that. I'll verify that for sure. But, yeah, Monday, October 14th, we're in Boston against Florida. I think that game, and that's after Montreal, and that's after LA. 2 games that we can win. After that, I want to see what Florida looks like. I want to see how Florida is going to change their game for a Bruins team that hopefully has more chemistry, and how the Bruins change their game to adapt to the changes that Florida's going to make. That's going to be a big part of what we're going to see from not just the Bruins side of things, but the Jim Montgomery side of things, the coaching staff side of things, as well as the goaltending side of things. I do think that if we go out and win this game against Florida, October 14th, we'll have a good look advance to what we're seeing for the rest of the season and comparing it to this game. And yeah, I agree with that as well, Edited. I don't want to say Korpisalo right now is our backup. If he does end up going down to the AHL for some point, and may happen, he probably would not get claimed on waivers, I wouldn't say. We still have Brandon Bussi. He got down there. Mikey DiPietro as well. It doesn't have to be a Jonas Korpisalo every 3 or 4 games. Yeah, the goaltending price is definitely going to be something that the Bruins are going to not like come trade deadline, come free agency next season, but it's something that you kind of had to have. We see much Shesterkin declined, and for those who didn't, declined 8 years, $11 million. Very, very happy that came out after Swayman signed, because if that didn't, we could have been in quite a pickle. It would be quite a pickle if that Shesterkin wanted 11 plus million. He rejected 11. It was 11 million. He said he wanted to be the highest paid on the Rangers, and Pastrnak's making 11 and a half, 11.4 something. So that's a heavy price for a goaltender. So looking at that now, I don't think we can really complain about an 8.5 at all, or an 8.25. Sorry, even 8.5. I was big on that, but 0-for-1 on team branding with 2-0 in the game. I want to see Utah do good. You know, I want to see the Utah the Utah Hockey Club do good. But I don't know how much longer I can say Utah Hockey Club. I that name stinks. But you know, I should say the team stinks, team name. But you know, you want to see him do good, especially after the Arizona tenure of hell. I think Swayman would have played good if he was in the net, but they would have, and then we would have won. I'm worried that Sway injured. Yeah, Swayman cannot get injured. That's all we have to say. We're going to need to have some people to donate any part of their body if whatever Swayman gets right. Someone's going to need to donate something, and I'll be the first to step up. If Swayman breaks his arm, I got 2. I only need 1. You know, give him what he wants. We need him healthy. And I think that was very evident today. Yeah, the Bruins did look pretty slow today, but a lot of there was a lot of bigger guys in the lineup tonight because it was Florida. I think we knew what the history from the playoffs last year had. Seen Pastrnak and Tkachuk go at it a bit here tonight as well. I think that was part of the Bruins' game plan, is trying to get physical, but you can't do that against the Habs. You know, the Habs rivalry isn't what it was. It's still a very big rivalry, but it's not the Charas, the Marchands, the Luciches anymore. It's you know, there's really no correlation between the two teams at this very moment. So I think we should stray away from that and pretty much just go speed, go skill, go abilities that a lot of these young guys have. And I think that's what will get us a win here. Hopefully Pastrnak's in the lineup soon. I think his offensive side will bring help in the top 6. I prefer him in the spot over Geekie, to be honest. And I like Geekie, just not on the second line. Geekie played pretty well tonight. I will admit that. But yeah, I agree. I don't think Geekie should be on the second line yet. Exactly, Azura. The Bears coming out of hibernation. That's what it was. We're not woken up yet. It was a day for Florida because of the banner, but you know, we're waking up. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be good. Come Thursday night, once we play the Habs, we're gonna be all right. Yes, Swayman is, I believe, everything but confirmed starting against the Habs. And I would be okay with saying it is confirmed. You know, I'm okay with saying that. But yeah, you know, a game that we're gonna be good in. I think we're gonna win. I want to say it. We're gonna win. I'm going to say it now. Put it on me, prediction. We are going to win against the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to score 6 goals. You guys can write it down, and I probably will be live before or after that game. So give me a reminder. If you don't, you know, I'll get away with it. But if you put it on the books and come into the stream, if we don't score 6 goals, you can absolutely rip me apart. You can rip me apart. Sign Tyler Johnson for more depth and power play. Tyler Johnson, one thing I want to discuss. Thank you for that. I want to discuss Tyler Johnson as well. Tyler Johnson would have played very well in this game. This was a Tyler Johnson game. A lot of passing, of course, in this game, which I want to see a bit more shooting, a bit more goal scoring, of course. But Tyler Johnson, that fits his game perfectly, is what we've seen here tonight. And these are the games that, you know, he'll work well in. He's not too young right now anymore, but he can play with these younger guys. He can play with the older guys. He's been around a very young team in Chicago. He's been around with a pretty old team in Tampa that have won 2 Stanley Cups. I think that he needs to be on this roster, and I think that the Bruins need to do something quickly, because I want to see him in this lineup. Huge on Tyler Johnson. I think he's going to be a very, very good player for the Boston Bruins in specific. Exactly. If we score 6 goals with Swayman in net, there should be no realm where we lose a game. You know, this is the game tonight here that kind of has shades of that. 4 goals, you're kind of on the bordering point there where you score 4, you probably should be winning. Although, Korpisalo, not his fault, but didn't let that happen tonight. I do want to see some changes there. I don't like this roster. I see a serious lack of leadership, and tonight's performance was a disgrace to hockey. Well, it was not good, but I wouldn't say a disgrace to hockey, but it definitely was a very big lacking lineup. And I will pull up the forward stats here again. You've seen Koepke. We've seen Max Jones didn't have too much ice time, but obviously he wasn't going to be on the ice too much, fourth line role. But there were some opportunities where we could have seen some better players succeed in rather than Koepke, rather than Max Jones. If we had Poitras here, if we had, I don't want to say Lysell, but if we had another younger guy that probably could have made this lineup, someone who played well, that can translate their game quickly to the NHL game, could have been a whole different outcome. But, you know, that's all we can do now. We'll see that in the next game against the Panthers. We're going to have a big win there as well. Swayman can't play 55 games. Trading Allmark was a bad move. I don't know about that, you know. Allmark had to go. It was a big cap situation. We would have been paying, well, if we look at this now, we would have been paying let's just call it $13.5 million to goalies. Which, now, looking at it compared to the Shesterkin contract, not horrible, but yeah, that was not feasible. You know, Swayman wanted to be, and he's earned that number 1 position at the price he is now. Once you think about the cap going up over the next few years, it'll be a very good contract come 2 or 3 years. I think right now that is a very good contract for Swayman still. I agree, Azura. Bennett should have gotten beat up a bit more after that. You know, it kind of went in a scrum to everybody, but I wanted to see someone really get back at Bennett because after what he did to Marchand last season, after what he did in this game, no attempt to avoid running into Jonas Korpisalo. Something should have been done. Someone had to retaliate, and they did. But in my personal mind, I don't think it was enough. Hello, Echo. How's it going? Obviously, probably not too good with the Bruins game, but hopefully everything else is well. Obviously. Yeah, and I see a lot of you guys as well. I think this is like the 4th different person I've seen comment on the penalties, and I absolutely agree. We can't be taking that many penalties in a game. Not a screenshot I forgot about, but I'll discuss that in a moment. The penalties, 19 penalty minutes. Of course, the fight for Kastelic was 5, but other than that, you can't be having 14 penalty minutes in a game where, you know, you can win. You can. We've seen how close we could have gotten at the end. A lot of those penalties didn't happen. There was no power play goals for the Panthers, but it shouldn't happen. It can't happen. Can't allow that to happen in future games. But that second screen I was looking at here. Korpisalo gets run full speed by Sam Bennett after Evan Rodriguez beats him with a wrister. Lowry goes right after him, and Bennett, and it ends with Frederic and Tkachuk getting into it, 6-2 Panthers. That was really the point where the Bruins kind of heated up a bit. You know, the 2 goals came after that. Obviously, they weren't good goals, but we've seen the team really dig in after that. Like, that pissed them off, and I think that was, unfortunately, I had to go to this, but I think that was really a good part of it. I think that was a good momentum shifting thing that the Bruins needed. Yeah, that's what it was. You know, the Bruins didn't seem like an NHL team. They were kind of running around. And as we discussed this here now, Carter Verhaeghe has signed a 8-year, $7 million contract. An 8-year, $7 million contract. That is a very good price for Carter Verhaeghe. That's a very, very, very good price. That is unfortunate. Lysell called up. I hope so, Cooper. I hope that this is going to be a chance that he's going to be given in the coming days. You know, I don't know for sure, and I kind of doubt it, but I really hope that's what we're going to see. I don't know if Pastrnak thinks he can beat up Tkachuk. I think it's just a point where he wants to do whatever he can to him. Now, when we're looking at the Swayman contract as well, I will end this stream here soon because I want to go watch that Utah game. But when we're looking at the Swayman contract, we're very lucky we got it at what it was, because we're looking at it as, Swayman being that guy that, he has leverage. The Bruins know, or he knows the Bruins need him. If he didn't have a contract tonight and Korpisalo was this bad, he would increase his price immediately, knowing that the Bruins need to sign a contract to get him because they can't have that going for a while. So we kind of got lucky in that aspect of things. Now, I don't want to say the Bruins are getting knocked out too soon. I don't want to get that far. I'm going to keep my hopes up, but if it does continue from this game, we're cooked. We are cooked. Yeah, I'm not a GM. That's a good reason why. If you see me on NHL franchise GM mode, whatever you want to call it, I'm making some heinous deals to get the guy I want. Yeah, that game, Mr. Quinn, that game was never close. That was not. Those 2 goals at the end, very, very lucky, but this game should not have been anywhere near the Bruins. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised we got 4, let alone, even came close near the end. Marchand getting older, and I definitely seen that tonight. That Marchand really wasn't at his peak level. But I'm thinking there's still some injury lingering around that. It almost seemed like it had to be, because he just didn't seem like a Marchand that we kind of noticed before. Yeah, it's too early to say if Swayman's actually worth the money, but for the way the contract is working out, the way things are working, they're playing out, it had to be done. I don't think that he will be an elite goaltender. Like, I don't think he's going to be, prime Carey Price, Connor Hellebuyck just yet, but, I'm not saying he won't be in a couple of years, but we just need him to be able to play consistent games. I don't need him to play amazing. Well, I mean, I don't need him to play anyway. I'm not on the team, but I just want to see him play good. Let's check if we got any more, if anybody's spoken out about this yet, any about this game, any press conferences. I feel like Jim Montgomery will have a field day, if you will, in the press conference. Okay, there are a few here that I will have a video on tomorrow, so make sure to hit the sub button if you're in the stream right now and you're looking to get all your Boston Bruins news. I always have it here, just about daily. I try to be daily. A few times school and work can get in the way of that, but we're bringing the news just. I'm going to call it every day. Every day is for the good cause. But yeah, there are some press conference discussions here from Trent Frederic, Korpisalo. I'm going to be interested to see that. Zadorov and Jim Montgomery. So I will have a look at those here soon. And Ty Anderson here also said the Bruins will be completely off tomorrow, Wednesday. There is no practice. So we're going to have to see Swayman on the ice tomorrow with probably Bob Essensa and a few others who didn't skate tonight. If the Bruins do badly, will they fire Jim Montgomery? I think it's about... There's a few things that'll have to go along with it. I don't think if the Bruins just play bad, but it's not, due to Jim Montgomery's coaching, he won't. But if we start to see Jim Montgomery make some stupid decisions, there is quite a high chance, I think. But I don't think Jim Montgomery will make anything like that. I don't think he I think he knows what he's doing. I guess it's a good way of putting him. Montreal is very quick, very, very, very quick, and very young, and that's what I'm a bit concerned about is the speed. Hopefully, we can use our size to that, but I want to say the Bruins will still win this. I still win this. Whiskey Roads, I'll take the bet. I think that Boston will win. I don't want to say I'm too confident, but I feel like the Bruins are due for a bounce back game, and I think Montreal's going to come out very, very quick and play very hard as well. It's not going to be an easy game by any means. I'm willing to make the bet. Yeah, it just wasn't the ideal game for the Bruins at all. I think it's going to be a change that is going to be made that we're going to we're gonna visually see next game. Oh, if the Bruins are even close to missing the playoffs, Jim Montgomery will be gone well before that. I think that if we have a negative record come, I'd say a month's time, that'll be it for him. But I have confidence that we won't. But that's pretty much all we have on the Bruins news here tonight after this game. I just wanted to come into this live, need to discuss it because I don't think any of us thought that this was a good game from the Bruins aspect of things. So if you're looking to get all of your Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. 70% of you guys watching right now. Well, not right now because we're live streaming, but if this were a video, 70% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, hit the sub button. I'll have another video tomorrow breaking this game down. Probably 2. I'll probably have 2 because, there's a lot of stuff coming out. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of stuff speaking of. I want to discuss this game as well in the video for those who didn't get the opportunity to be in the stream. The stream will be up as well after. So if you want to go watch this tomorrow or if someone here is... Oh, well, you wouldn't be here. If someone's watching this come tomorrow morning, let me know in the comments what you thought about this game. Tune in the video. That's going to be some point tomorrow. But yeah, have a good night, fellas. I do hope that we see a better game. We're gonna have a big bounce back. We're gonna have a big bounce back. All right. I do hope all of you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna be heading out now. Gonna go watch Utah play. Very excited to see if the camera angle is good because the Florida Panthers camera angle is garbage. Very, very bad. Very bad. But yeah, anyways, I hope all of you guys have a good night. Stay safe if you're in Florida, if you were down at the game tonight, or if you're watching there. Follow your guidelines from whoever. I don't know. I live in Canada, so I don't know who's telling you, but stay safe from the hurricane if it's coming your way. Please. I hope all of you guys have a good night. See you later.